It wasn't his usual smile, the one I'd fallen in love with 3 years ago. This one was different, colder. Like he knew something I didn't. My name is Ayla Vale. And I'm about to tell you about the worst night of my life. And how it became the beginning of my best one. The message came at 6 p.m. on a Tuesday. Family dinner tonight? I have a surprise for you, dress nice. Chase. My heart jumped. A surprise, at a family dinner. I stared at my phone, reading it again and again. Could this be it? Was he finally going to propose? We'd been together for 3 years. We talked about marriage, about children, about growing old together. Maybe tonight was the night. I rushed to my closet and pulled out my nicest dress. A simple blue one that Chase once said made my eyes sparkle. I curled my hair, put on the perfume he'd given me last Christmas. I even practiced my surprised face in the mirror. Just act natural, I whispered to myself. Don't cry too much when he asks. I called my mom, Nora, on the way there. Mom, I think Chase is going to propose tonight. She was quiet for a second. Oh, honey, that's wonderful. Are you ready? I've been ready for a year. Mom, then go get your happy ending. Sweetheart. I hung up, smiling so wide my cheeks hurt. The dinner was at the Kingsley Ballroom in downtown Chicago. It was fancy, way fancier than our usual places. Crystal chandeliers, white tablecloths, soft music playing in the background. This had to be it. When I walked in, everyone was already seated. Chase's parents, Gregory and Lydia Maddox, were at the head of the table. His brother Everett was there too, looking uncomfortable in his suit. And then I saw her, a woman I'd never met before. Sitting right next to Chase, she was beautiful. Long dark hair, perfect makeup, the kind of confidence that filled a room. My smile faded. Chase stood up when he saw me. That strange smile was back. Ayla, you made it come. Sit down. I moved slowly toward the table, my heels clicking against the marble floor. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. Everyone, Chase said, his voice loud and cheerful. I asked you all here tonight because I have an announcement. My heart was pounding now, but not in a good way. Chase put his arm around the woman next to him. This is Victoria. And she's the woman I deserve. The room went silent. I felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. Chase, what? I started to say. He held up his hand. Let me finish. He looked at Victoria with a smile I used to think was only for me. Victoria is confident, bold, successful. She knows what she wants and goes after it. Then he turned to me and his smile disappeared. Ayla, you're none of those things. You're simple, basic, really. Do you know how many times I had to hide you from my work friends? How embarrassing it was to introduce you to important people. I couldn't breathe. Chase, please, I whispered. I stayed with you out of pity, he continued. His words were knives, and he kept throwing them. Because I felt sorry for you. But now I've found someone who actually matches my level. Tears were building in my eyes. But I refused to let them fall. Not here, not in front of everyone. You should be grateful, Chase said, his voice getting colder. Grateful I even chose you at all. Because let me tell you something, Ayla. You will never find someone better than me. The silence in that room was deafening. I looked around. Gregory was staring at his plate. Lydia was sipping her wine, looking anywhere but at me. Victoria had a small smirk on her face, but Everett was staring at his brother with his jaw clenched. Apologize, Everett said suddenly. His voice was sharp, angry. Chase laughed. Actually laughed. Apologize. To girls like her. He shook his head. Please, Everett. She should be thanking me for the 3 years I wasted on her. That's when I stood up. My legs were shaking, my hands were trembling, but I stood. Excuse me, I said quietly. I didn't run. I didn't scream. I just walked out of that ballroom with whatever dignity I had left. But the moment I got to my car, I broke. I cried so hard I couldn't see. I cried until my throat hurt. I cried until there were no tears left. The drive home was a blur. I don't even remember how I got there safely. All I could hear were Chase's words playing over and over in my head.
Simple, embarrassing, basic, you'll never find someone better.
I called my dad Peter from my driveway. I couldn't even get out of the car. "Daddy," I sobbed into the phone. He said I was embarrassing, that I'll never find anyone better."
My father's voice was gentle but firm.
"Ayla, listen to me. That boy is a fool. You hear me, a fool. You are worth more than his cruelty. But what if he's right?
What if I'm not enough?
You are more than enough. You always have been. Now go home, rest, and tomorrow."
You start over. I don't know if I can.
"Dad, yes, you can, because you're my daughter."
And Vale women don't stay down, we get back up.
Always. That night was the longest night of my life. I lay in bed, replaying every word Chase had said.
Every look, every laugh, every moment of the past 3 years felt like a lie now. Had he always thought I was embarrassing? Had he always been ashamed of me? I thought about all the times he'd cancel plans at the last minute.
All the work parties he'd go to alone. All the times he'd say, "You wouldn't be interested in this," or "It's just a boring business thing." Was he hiding me the whole time?
The thought made me feel sick. I grabbed my phone and started scrolling through our photos. There were hundreds of them. Birthdays, holidays, random Tuesday nights on the couch. In every single one, I was smiling, genuinely smiling. But Chase, when I really looked at his face, he looked distant. Like he was always thinking about something else. How did I miss that? I deleted the photos. All of them. Then I blocked his number. It felt like ripping off a bandage, painful but necessary. By the time the sun came up on Wednesday morning, something had changed inside me. I was done crying over someone who didn't deserve my tears. I got out of bed, looked at myself in the mirror, and made a promise. I will never let anyone make me feel small again. My eyes were red and puffy, my hair was a mess. But there was something new in my expression, determination. The first thing I did was call my best friend. "Maya, I need a gym membership," I told her.
"Since when do you go to the gym?" "Since today." Maya was quiet for a second.
"What happened, Ayla?" I told her everything. The dinner, Victoria, Chase's words, all of it. "That absolute piece of—"
Maya started.
"I know,"
I interrupted.
"But I'm not going to sit around feeling sorry for myself. I'm going to become the woman he said I'd never be."
"Hell yes you are. I'll pick you up at 6 a.m. tomorrow."
6 a.m. You said you wanted to change.
Change starts early, babe. The second thing I did was update my resume.
I'd been working as an assistant at a small marketing firm for years.
It was comfortable, safe, but it wasn't enough anymore.
I opened my laptop and started typing. For 3 years, I'd been putting Chase first. His schedule, his needs, his career. I turned down promotions because they required travel and Chase didn't want me gone. I'd stayed quiet in meetings because Chase said I should listen more, talk less. But that version of Ayla was gone now. I applied to 10 jobs that day. Big companies. Places where I could actually grow, places where I could be more than just someone's assistant. By Friday, I had 3 interviews scheduled. By Monday, I had a job offer, senior marketing coordinator at a tech company. Double my old salary, my own office, a team to lead. I accepted immediately. The weeks that followed were hard, really hard. Maya picked me up every morning at 6 a.m. No matter how much I complained, the first week, I could barely run for 5 minutes without feeling like I was dying. But Maya wouldn't let me quit. "You're stronger than you think," she'd say. "Keep going." So I did. I also started seeing a therapist. Her name was Dr. Maeve, and she was patient with me. "Why do you think you stayed with Chase for so long?" she asked during our second session.
"Because I loved him."
"Did you? Or did you love the idea of being loved?" That question hit me hard. The truth was, I'd been so desperate to be chosen, to be wanted, that I'd ignored all the red flags. The canceled plans, the exclusion from his life, the way he'd criticize my clothes, my voice, my laugh. I made myself smaller to fit into his life. I finally said. Dr. Maeve nodded. And now I'm going to take up all the space I want. At my new job, I threw myself into work. My boss, Sandra, was everything Chase wasn't. Supportive, encouraging. She saw potential in me that I didn't even see in myself. Ayla, you have great ideas, she'd say in meetings. Don't be afraid to share them. So I started speaking up. Contributing, leading projects, and people listened. It felt incredible. I also started dressing differently, not to impress anyone, but because I wanted to feel good about myself. I bought new clothes, bright colors, bold patterns. Things that made me feel confident. I cut my hair shorter, got highlights, started wearing red lipstick. Every small change felt like I was becoming more me. 2 months passed like this. Then I got a call from Lydia Maddox one Tuesday afternoon. Ayla, dear, she said in that sweet voice of hers. I know things ended badly, but Gregory and I are hosting a charity gala this weekend. Both families will be there, yours included. We'd love for you to come. My stomach dropped. I don't think that's a good idea. Please? Dear, you've always been part of our family. What Chase did was wrong. But that doesn't change how we feel about you. Besides, your parents already confirmed they're coming. I closed my eyes. Of course they did. Will Chase be there? I asked. Yes, with Victoria, but you shouldn't let that stop you from coming. Show him what he lost. Part of me wanted to say no, to hide, to avoid the awkwardness. But then I remembered Dr. Maeve's words, take up all the space you want. I'll be there, I said that Saturday. I stood in front of my mirror for a long time. The woman staring back at me looked different from the one who'd cried in the same mirror 2 months ago. I'd lost weight, yes, but it was more than that. My skin was glowing from all the water I'd been drinking. My arms had definition from the gym, my posture was straighter. But the biggest change was in my eyes. They looked confident, strong, unbreakable. I wore a red dress, not blue-red, because I wasn't Chase's Ayla anymore. I was just Ayla, and Ayla looked damn good in red. Maya came over to do my makeup. Girl, she said, staring at me. You're going to break next tonight. That's the plan. When I walked into the Kingsley Ballroom that night, I felt every eye turn toward me. Conversation stopped mid-sentence. People stared. My mom rushed over and hugged me tight. Oh, honey. You look absolutely stunning. Thanks. Mom. My dad kissed my forehead. That's my girl. Show them what you're made of. I scanned the room and saw him. Chase, he was standing by the bar with Victoria. Victoria. He was standing by the bar with Victoria. She was wearing a tight black dress and talking loudly to someone. Showing off, but Chase wasn't listening to her. He was staring at me. His glass stopped halfway to his mouth. His eyes went wide. Victoria noticed and elbowed him hard. What are you looking at? He didn't answer her. I walked past them without a word. My head held high. Ayla, Chase called out. I kept walking. Ayla, wait, he said louder. I stopped and turned around slowly. Yes, he walked toward me. Leaving Victoria standing alone. You look different. I know. Can we talk? Just for a minute. I don't think so. Please. Ayla, I just want to... No, Chase. My voice was calm but firm. You said everything you needed to say 2 months ago. I have nothing more to hear from you. His face fell. I didn't mean those things, I was just... You meant every word. And that's okay, because you did me a favor. You showed me exactly who you are, and I learned exactly who I don't want to be. I walked away before he could respond. My hands were shaking, but I felt powerful. Later that evening, I was talking with some family friends when someone tapped my shoulder. I turned around. It was Everett. Hi, he said softly. Hi. He looked different than I remembered. More serious, his suit was perfectly tailored. His hair was neat, but his eyes looked tired. Can we talk? Just for a minute, he asked. I nodded, and we stepped out onto the balcony. The city lights of Chicago sparkled below us. The night air was cool and refreshing. I wanted to apologize, Everett said. For what happened at that dinner, what my brother said.
It was unforgivable. I looked down at the city. You don't need to apologize for him. I know.
But I should have done more. I should have said more. I should have walked out with you. We stood in silence for a moment.
You know what impressed me that night, Everett continued. You didn't yell. You didn't throw a drink in his face. You didn't make a scene. You just left, with your head up. That takes real strength.
I felt my throat tighten. I cried in my car for 2 hours. But you didn't give him the satisfaction of seeing it.
That's the difference between you and most people. You have grace, dignity. He paused. And then you rebuilt yourself. I've been watching. Ayla, the new job, the confidence, the way you carry yourself now.
You're incredible. I looked at him, really looked at him.
Why are you telling me this? Because someone should. Because you deserve to hear it. He took a deep breath. And because I've wanted to tell you for a long time, my heart started beating faster. What do you mean? I mean, I noticed you 3 years ago.
The first time Chase brought you to a family dinner, you laughed at my dad's terrible jokes.
You helped my mom in the kitchen even though she told you not to. You were kind, real, beautiful. Everett, I know the timing is terrible. I know this is complicated.
But I can't watch my brother's biggest mistake become someone else's gain without at least trying.
He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. My breath caught. I'm not good with words, Everett said, his voice shaking slightly. But I know a good person when I see one. And you're not just good, Ayla, you're extraordinary.
You're everything anyone could ever want. Then he got down on one knee.
Ayla Vale, he said, opening the box to reveal a simple, beautiful diamond ring. Will you marry me? I heard gasps behind me. I turned around and saw that half the party had followed us onto the balcony. My parents, his parents, random guests, everyone including Chase. His face was completely white. Victoria was next to him, her mouth hanging open.
Everett, I whispered, my eyes filling with tears. Are you sure? What about your family? What about Chase? I don't care about any of that. I care about you. I've cared about you for 3 years.
I just never had the courage to say it until now. I looked into his eyes.
They were kind, honest, real. There was no game.
No hidden agenda, just truth. Yes, I said, tears streaming down my face.
Yes, I'll marry you.
The balcony erupted in cheers and applause. Everett stood up and slipped the ring onto my finger. Then he kissed me. It was soft and gentle and perfect. Through the crowd, I saw Chase turn and walk away quickly. Victoria followed him. Yelling something I couldn't hear, my mom was crying.
My dad was shaking Everett's hand. Gregory and Lydia looked shocked but happy.
Proud even. Welcome to the family, Ayla, Lydia said, hugging me tight. Officially this time. The next few months were like a dream.
Everett and I got to know each other properly. Real dates, real conversations. He told me about his work as an architect. I told him about my new job. We talked about everything. Our fears, our dreams, our favorite books and movies and foods. He was patient with me.
He understood that I needed time to trust again. Take all the time you need, he'd say. I'm not going anywhere. We got married 4 months later in a small ceremony. It was perfect, just family and close friends. My dad walked me down the aisle with tears in his eyes. You deserve this happiness, he whispered before giving me away. Everett held my hand during the entire ceremony. When it was time for vows, his voice cracked with emotion. Ayla, you taught me that real strength isn't about being loud or bold. It's about getting back up after life knocks you down. It's about choosing kindness when the world is cruel. I promise to spend every day showing you what it feels like to be truly loved. I couldn't stop crying. We had a honeymoon in Italy. We ate too much pasta. We got lost in tiny villages. We laughed until our stomachs hurt when we came back. We bought a small house with a blue door on a quiet street. It had a big backyard and a porch swing. We adopted a golden retriever puppy and named him Cooper. Life was peaceful, not perfect. We had arguments about whose turn it was to do dishes.
We disagreed about which color to paint the bedroom. Everett snored, but it was real and honest. And full of love. Meanwhile, Chase's perfect life was crumbling. According to Lydia, who called me occasionally to check in, Victoria wasn't the confident, bold woman Chase thought she was. She was controlling, jealous, insecure. She checked his phone constantly, accused him of still loving me, started fights in public places. Threw things when she was angry. The woman Chase thought matched his level was actually making his life miserable. He tried everything to fix it. Expensive gifts, romantic trips. Couples therapy, nothing worked. One night, according to Everett, Victoria threw all of Chase's clothes out of their apartment window and screamed at him in front of the whole building. "You're still in love with that basic girl," she yelled. "I can see it in your eyes every time someone mentions her name." Chase called Everett that night, crying. "I made a mistake," Chase said. "The biggest mistake of my life. I lost the best thing I ever had." Everett was silent for a long moment. "You didn't lose her, Chase. You threw her away, like garbage. In front of everyone. I know I did, but I was stupid. I was arrogant. I thought I deserved better. But Ayla was better. She was the best person I ever knew. And I destroyed her. So what do you want me to do about it? Can you ask her to meet with me just once? I need to apologize properly. I need to explain." "No. Please, Everett. I'm begging you. I'll get on my knees if I have to. She's my wife now. And I won't let you hurt her again, not ever. You had 3 years to treat her right. And you chose to humiliate her instead. That's on you. I can change. I can be better. It's too late for that. She's moved on. She's happy. And I'm going to make sure she stays that way. Get your life together, Chase, but leave her alone." "This is the last time we're having this conversation." Everett hung up. That was the last time the brothers spoke. Chase couldn't handle it. The regret ate at him every single day. He'd see couples holding hands and think of Ayla. He'd smell her perfume on a stranger and stop breathing. He'd drive past places we used to go and have to pull over. Victoria eventually left him for someone else. Someone who actually appreciated her chaos. Chase started drinking, not a lot at first. Just a glass of wine at night, then 2 glasses, then half a bottle. He stopped going to work on time, stopped caring about his appearance, stopped answering his parents' calls. Gregory and Lydia tried to help him, they really did, but he pushed them away. "You chose Everett over me," he'd say. "You invited Ayla to that gala knowing it would hurt me." "We invited her because she's family," Lydia would respond. "Because she's our daughter-in-law now. And because you need to face the consequences of your actions." But Chase didn't want to face anything. 6 months after my wedding, Chase packed a single suitcase and bought a one-way ticket to Melbourne. Australia. He didn't tell anyone, not his parents, not his brother, not his few remaining friends. He just left. Ran away from the mess he'd made, from the guilt that followed him everywhere. Everett told me about it one evening while we were making dinner. "He's gone," Everett said quietly. "Chase left the country." I stopped chopping vegetables. "What?" Mom called today. "He sent them an email from the airport, said he needed a fresh start. Away from everything that reminds him of his mistakes." I didn't know what to feel. Part of me felt sad for him, part of me felt nothing. "Are you okay?" I asked Everett. He nodded slowly. "I am." He made his choices. Now he has to live with them. We finished making dinner in silence. That night, lying in bed next to Everett with Cooper snoring at our feet, I realized something. I didn't think about Chase anymore. Not with anger, not with sadness, not even with satisfaction that his life fell apart. Just nothing. He was a chapter in my life that was closed now. A lesson learned. A person I used to know today. I'm sitting on my porch swing, drinking coffee and watching Cooper chase butterflies in the backyard. Everett is inside making pancakes. He's still terrible at it. But he tries every Saturday morning anyway. "Ayla," he calls out. "Do you want chocolate chips in yours?" "Always," I call back.
He comes out a few minutes later with 2 plates of slightly burnt pancakes covered in chocolate chips and whipped cream. You know, he says, sitting next to me, I think we should go to the zoo today. I laugh. The zoo, why? Because we're happy. And happy people do random fun things. Plus, I want to see the penguins. You just want an excuse to eat zoo pretzels. That too. So that's what we do. We go to the zoo, we hold hands, we take silly pictures with the flamingos. We eat overpriced pretzels and ice cream, we watch the penguins waddle around for 20 minutes. And we laugh so much on the drive home. Everett reaches over and takes my hand. Thank you, he says. For what? For saying yes that night. For taking a chance on me. For building this life with me. I squeeze his hand. Thank you for seeing me when no one else did. For loving me when I didn't love myself. That night, as I'm getting ready for bed, I catch my reflection in the mirror. I look happy, genuinely, completely happy. And I realize that Chase was right about one thing. I would never find someone better than him. I found someone extraordinary instead, someone who didn't just want me. He chose me every single day. That's victory, and I won.